Today's video, we're going to look at finding out the profitability of a rent-to-rent deal, where we look for a rent-to-rent deal, and how to run the correct numbers and do deal analysis. So the first part we'd look at is actually going on to Gumtree. Personally, I love Gumtree. We can connect directly with landlords, private landlords, no agents, no middleman. We can go directly to the landlord. So I love Gumtree for that. It can be quite limited with the amount of properties that advertise on it in comparison to something like Open Rent or Rightmove. But Gumtree for me is one of my personal favourites. Connect with landlords very easily and there's no heck. So first step is you're going to Gumtree. We're going to look at Leeds because I know Leeds very well. I know what areas work, I know where areas don't work. Makes a lot more sense for me to do this. So we would start with going on to property, scroll down private rather than agency. We always want to try to go direct to the landlord, no agency involved. This one here caught my eye, looks really high spec, really nice. It's also featured cheap enough rent for where it's located. It's in LS2. I have a property in LS2, so I know the area works. It's smack bang in the city centre, so I know it works really well. So click on here, have a look, have a little scan. We can see it could have potentially been used as a service accommodation in the past with how well it's staged, how well it looks, but extremely high spec from what. Look at that bathroom, really nice. I think this would do really well on short term. The good thing about this is that would require nothing to actually set up. So I'm going to message this landlord and try to get this. So because I know the area LS2 works really well, and there's pretty much no setup cost in this apartment. Like, look how well this is furnished and staged. You could probably even use these pictures for Airbnb already. You don't even need to invest in a photographer. I'd be very surprised if this isn't used already for service accommodation. Literally everything is there. You don't need to buy anything. So really nice property. So next steps for me would be doing the analysis. As I already know LS2, I know this rent works. 850 is very good for that spec. I'd assume the building where the apartment's held is really high spec as well, has some good amenities. But if this was me where I didn't know the area, I didn't know anything about it, the next step I'd do is I'd look for this area on. The next steps for me would be looking where this is on Google Maps. So I'd copy and paste this and go onto Google Maps, just to get a better understanding exactly where this is located. It's a surrounding area, like, is it close to other hotels? That's a good sign if it is. Is it close to amenities? All of that. So click in here, we can see it's located up here. Very, very close to the city centre. You can see everything is there. See the museum, university. We have, and it's a stone throw from the shopping district, First Direct Arena, and Leeds Becker University as well. So really good location, really good price, and really good property. The next steps after I figure this out is, based on where it is, I'd now go on to Airbnb and find other properties in that area and see what they're making. Go on to Airbnb and we will look at Leeds City Centre. And we zoom in on exactly where we know this property is. So we know it's in Woodhouse, right beside the University of Leeds. I'd actually zoom out just a little bit so we can get a broader look at what the performance of the other units in those areas are doing. So we'd filter it down, because we know it's a one bed, we'd filter it down just to one bed, so we're not searching for anything more or anything less. So I put my filter on just to one bedrooms, and let's see what the performance is of other one bedrooms in that area. So we will scroll down, view all, and we can see here all of the top performing one bedrooms in that area. If you're just new to this, it's probably overwhelming. There's so much on the screen, so many numbers, so much to take in. The main thing that I'll focus on is looking at the key elements of these units. So even if you want to, I'd sometimes click onto the units just to gauge what they actually look like, what the reviews are like, how well they're performing. So let's say, for example, we know that this is one of the top performing one bedroom units in that area, right? It makes 34k revenue per year, as a potential of 39k revenue. That's based off the fact it has 88% occupancy, and if you up the amount of days it was available, it probably would have made more. That's where the revenue potential comes from. It has an ADR of £137.5. But when we click onto this unit, first thing I notice is that the pictures aren't that great. They're more than likely taken on an iPhone. Doesn't look like they were professionally taken. Staging isn't the best. The apartment looks decent, but the stage itself isn't the best. TV is tiny. It doesn't look like an amazing apartment, and that makes 34k per year. The next part that I'd look at is the reviews. It has 61 reviews, so it's probably on the market a long time in terms of, so that would mean it's established, probably has repeat customers, but still with 4.33 rating, that is shocking in terms of the average standard. That is really bad. And it still makes 34k per year, that tells me that the market there is really good. There's a lot of demand. The one bed we looked at in Gumtree, I think is 10 times better than this. The pictures are better, the furniture is better, the setup is better. I think the area is also better. And we'd be running it better as well. So yeah, it got a couple of 1 stars, 3 stars, got a range of different reviews, but overall the rating of this apartment is really bad. So the way I would look at that is, if this unit is making 34k per year, has a potential of making 39k per year, and it has a rating of 4.33, I know I can run it much better, especially with a better unit, better photo, and running it as a better operator, more professionally. So we get a higher rating, and I think we get a higher nightly rate because of that. So just back to Airbnb for a second. When we're actually looking at all these units, typically what I do is I just gauge the market average. So usually I take the top 8 to 10 units and look at their ADR. We can gauge that, the occupancy is quite high on all these. The revenue is quite good on most of them. A lot of them are over 30k per year, or else at least have a potential of over 30k per year. But the main thing that I'll be looking at is the ADR. So ADR 129, 137, 149. So we're kind of getting an idea that in general, 1 bedrooms in this area have an ADR of over £100 per night. Okay. With that data then, after looking at some of the top 1 beds that are performing in this area, I then take that over to our deal analyzer. And I'll put in the key numbers that will tell us if this deal is going to be profitable or not. So let's say, for example, we're looking at the ADR from the top 8. On average, we could say, being conservative, let's say £120 per night. Okay. Some of them make more, some of them make less. Let's just say we'd be a bit conservative. We say £120 per night. On average, we can get. So we put that in here. £120 per night. Then in our fixed month costs, we'll put our rent, which is $875. I think we could potentially negotiate that even a bit lower. But let's just say we stick with $875 per month. We then have other expenses that we're going to incur throughout the month. You might not know these figures. It's best to estimate these, look online what the market average is, and then put them into the deal analyzer. But because I have an apartment in LS2, I could give a good estimate of what it's going to cost. So I'd say electricity and gas might be, let's say, £100 per month, £23 per month. Council tax might be about 100 again. It might be less if you get a discount, you get some relief, but let's just say £100. Water for me in my LS2 2-bed is £55, so I'll leave that in. So our total ongoing monthly cost is approximately £1,153. Okay. When we're looking at our OTA fees on Airbnb, it's about 16%. Booking.com, it's slightly higher, but we just put in Airbnb. Our cleaning, that's going to be our cleaning cost. So whatever your cleaning fees are per month, it all depends on what they are, how big the apartment is. For me, I know my cleaning cost is £45 per month for a 2-bed in LS2. So let's say a 1-bed might be, let's just say £30 per month. Okay. So final piece of the deal analyzer is actually looking at our ROI and break-even costs. So aside from our monthly cash flow and whether our deal is going to be profitable, the deal analyzer will tell us when we're going to break even and if this deal is even worthwhile. So again, we'll enter all the key details about this property. We know that the rent is $875. Typically we pay 1 month's rent as a deposit. We could even potentially get no deposit down, but let's just say we have $875 for the deposit. Furniture, decor, pictures is going to be zero there. Absolutely nothing. So we just we'll take that out. Bedding and towels. I don't even think we'll need any bedding and towels either. Deep clean, TV, photography, staging. I don't believe we do, but let's just say we get a photographer in 100. Just to get this unit set up, running and taking bookings on Airbnb, it's going to cost us £1,850. And with the conservative figures that we plugged into this deal analyzer, it's telling us we'll break even and get a return on investment within 3 months. That is a really, really good deal. Like, that's an amazing deal. So I'm actually going to reach out to the landlord now and try to get this deal on a company let, because this is a really, really good deal. So back to the real numbers that actually matter. When we're looking at a deal, these are the main things that matter. Our occupancy, our revenue, our profit after fixed costs, and our profit after all our costs. So this chart here will tell us if a deal is going to be worthwhile and worth it, or else it's going to be a waste of time. If a deal is not breaking even at 50% or less, I walk away from it. You don't want the deal that's only breaking even at about 60, 70 or 80%. Because that basically means just to not lose money, you have to get 80% occupancy at £120 per night. Not that it's hard to do, but you're not going to make any money. You're literally just covering your costs at 80% occupancy. And when we go back on the Airbnb, if we look at the average occupancy, we could potentially say it's anywhere from, let's say, 70 to 80. That's the average occupancy. So if you're only breaking even and covering your costs at that, a deal is not worthwhile. Anyways, going back onto the deal. So the reason why this chart is so important and it's color coded is because it shows us where we're in red and where we should be in green. Again, if we are only breaking even a higher percentage of occupancy, that does not make. We should be making profit at the point that this starts to go green. So when this is about 50%, we should be making a small profit or at least breaking even. If a deal is breaking even at any higher occupancy than that, I'm walking away. This deal here is an absolute banger. Honestly, really, really good. When we're looking at 100% occupancy, which, not that it's impossible, it's just difficult to get with that ADR. But if we're looking at 100% occupancy with this deal, we're looking at nearly £1,900 clean profit after all the expenses, which is nuts for a Leeds one-bedroom apartment. Just think about it in this perspective. The initial investment that we're putting into this is only $1,850. There's going to be no furnishing fees. There won't be much cost involved in actually setting this unit up. From a profitability and investment standpoint, this is an unbelievable deal. Honestly, like, we're breaking even at 40%, and if we're looking at an average of, let's say, 70 to 80% occupancy, we're looking for anywhere 1 to 1.4k profit per month on a one bed in Leeds City Centre. It's crazy. This is the power of rent to rent when you do proper deal analysis. When you run the numbers and you don't make decisions emotionally and you base it off of conservative figures, this just shows you exactly what you can make on a rent to rent deal. So after I've done all this analysis, I've ran the numbers and I'm happy with it, I'd then go on and I'd message a landlord. I'm not going to pitch in the meshes. I'm not going to overcomplicate the whole process. I'm just trying to get it on the phone and pitch on the phone. So I'd say something along the lines of, hey, Amanda, Adam here, really interested in this property. Would you be available for a quick call sometime? So literally, so pitch your idea of company. Don't do anything through messages. Try to get them on the phone, give them your phone number, try to get their phone number, ask somebody available for a quick chat tomorrow. Once you're on the phone, pitch your idea. The main thing I teach people is not just jumping the gun, jumping down their throat with the idea of company let, overwhelming them with everything. Chat to them. Be human with them. Literally have a conversation. Try to understand their pain points. Why is the property on the market? This is a really nice property, stage well, good furniture, high spec. Why is a property like this on the market? Did they have a bad experience before? Was the property trash? Did they have a tenant that wasn't paying rent? What's actually going on there? What's their pain point as a landlord? Do they want someone that can guarantee the property's going to be looked after? Someone that can guarantee rent? What are they actually looking for when renting this property? Based off of all those pain points and information that they give you, and you're just having a normal conversation, telling them you're interested, telling them your name, telling them you own a company, and then base off the information that they give you, then we're basically into a sales call. Once we're into the sales call and we're on that trajectory, then we can use a loose script of what direction to take the conversation. But that is how you find the profitability of a rent-to-rent deal in a nutshell. How you run the numbers, how you find it, how you message the landlord, and then you take it from there. Hope this video helped. If you want more of these type of videos, leave a comment below. If you want access to a skilled community showing you exactly how to do this and how to start your own rent-to-rent business, I left a link below in the description. You can book a one-to-one call and we can go through exactly how we can get you started. See you in the next video.